Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to a Chart Nerd technical analysis video. Today we will be discussing Stronghold. The ticker is SHX against the USDT on the weekly time frame. Now, before I start, I'm going to backtrack a couple of weeks ago when I released my previous Stronghold update, and I do believe we was back here in the later parts of July, and I was saying that because we've seen rejection on this wave 4 back into this 0.005 resistance, I am expecting a final fifth wave back down to this key support zone. So let's have a look at this previous content I released 2 weeks ago to see if we have any confluence to what we're seeing today. I think a couple of weeks ago is when I released an update and we was back down here on the 8th of July, and I was saying we were looking for a run up to previous resistance on this previous high here on the left in January, looking to meet it as resistance for our wave 4 before a wave 5 back down to key support. So right now I think this is the play, because we've got this key resistance zone where we had these closes back in February, and right now we're retracing back down to these lows here of January, and this is our key support zone. So from these candle closes to this wick low down here at 0.0032, this is where I think at the moment we are trying to get to on the weekly time frame, because we've had this wave 1 down to support, we had a wave 2 and we found support on this local high, we had a wave 2 back up into resistance, which was a lower high than the current all-time high, indicated depleting buying pressure, and at this point we came down for the wave 3. Now in this wave 3, this is where it was important, because we came back and we lost this level of support right here, and we in fact confirmed it as resistance. So right now this wave 4 is our key resistance point. If we are to see this final wave 5 down to key support zone, this wave 4 above us here at 0.005 is going to be our key resistance moving forward. So back to our current video. As you noticed in the video, I was talking about this final fifth wave coming back to this key support zone at 0.0032. Now what you'll notice is we did have this really large wick on the 5th of August, the week of the 5th of August, and we actually did come back down to 0.0024. In essence of that, we did have buyers come straight back in, and as of this week is where we found this wick support exactly on the previous wick support that we had in January of 24. So right now SHX has done exactly what I thought it was going to do and come back for this final fifth wave into this key support zone. So what we need to see right now, as mentioned I think in the clip you just saw as well, this 0.0055 range and this wave 4 high is our next level of resistance to get above. And what you'll notice is this week we've actually had a wick up to retest this resistance already, but we're being pushed down as of such. So what we need to see is this current wave 5 low hold on this key support zone for SHX. As the previous wick we had back here in January, it has now been retested. This 5 wave correction has potentially been complete. Equally, we could see this as some sort of ABC correction, a really large ABC, where we've just had the final touch point of our C wave. So if I just get this on, we could have had this A wave, this B wave, and right here this was our C wave, a really large ABC correction. We could go off of this wick here and off of these candle closes equally, but this to me does look like some really large ABC, and all we have now is, I think, if we're lucky, we basically just want to range over the next couple of weeks here between this key support zone and between this sort of A wave support that is now being met as resistance. Because you can see on the way down here for the weekly, we had this A wave back down to this key support, which was this previous resistance over here in January. We had that touch point of support on previous resistance, ran into the B wave, which was a lower high than the all-time high, indicated depleting buying pressure, and now we've come in for this large C wave retracing back down to these January lows of 24. So this looks like this move is complete for me right now, and to validate that we have to see weekly closes above this support zone above this wick. This is the last level of the wick support zone, which is at 0.0032, which is where I was expecting us to come back down to. So for now, it's all about holding this level of support in the key support zone and breaking this wick that we've ran into this week at 0.005. If we can sort of build up some foundational base over the next coming weeks around this sort of area for Stronghold and start building higher lows under this level of resistance, I think we could form some sort of ascending triangle here and potentially look for the breakout. And this is where you've had the A wave down, the B wave, the C wave correction, build some sort of base, look for the breakout and start retesting these highs that we've fallen from for Stronghold. So for me, it was just a quick one today, just to point out that these lows are potentially in. We are sort of seeing these candle closes back on the previous candle closes that we had as support in January and February of early this year. So we're seeing the same sort of relief off of these areas. The last relief that we had from this support zone actually led for an impulsive further 2 weeks of 331%. But at these times, we was in a very strong uptrend for SHX. So I'm not necessarily saying that's going to happen again, but just keep in mind that we have seen very good relief off of these areas. So it is a likelihood that we are just stuck between a rock and a hard place right now. And until we break 0.005, we are caught between key support and this level of previous resistance and support that we're now meeting as resistance. So this is a very important trend line to break above for SHX in the coming weeks to confirm that this was our low, and right now we're sort of building our way back up to this resistance point, looking to break that and retrace to these previous highs that we have fallen from. So key points to take away from this macro update for SHX is that this potential 5-wave correction has been complete, or this large ABC. We do have very large wicks to the downside and to the upside throughout this correction. Wicks aren't uncommon, but as the general trend is speaking, you can see that we've had these sort of 5 waves down. We've come back to this key level of support. Hold this level right now at 0.0032, and I think we're good for continuation, at least back up to this 0.005. And as I've said, these next couple of weeks could be a bit choppy for us guys, where we do find a footing and try and put in a base around this area. And as long as it holds, then we are good for continuation, in my opinion. So we just need to hold this key support zone and start breaking out of this resistance in order to start retracing to these previous highs that we've fallen from, where we're caught between this range of resistance and support. I hope you enjoyed the content, guys, from Chart Nerd TA. Take care. Peace out.